Hey everyone, welcome to another plan with me. This week I'm memory planning November 3rd to November 9th, and I'm using this kit from Cinderella Paper Co. Believe that's what it's called, and it's like a Bridgerton themed inspired kit. I just honestly felt like this was probably the best kit that I had to represent me and my husband's 8-year anniversary. We haven't been married for 8 years, but 8 years ago is when we started dating, and the first time he asked me to be his girlfriend. Super cheesy, but I love it, and I did love the Bridgerton show. I don't remember how many seasons are. I think there's 3. Obviously, the first one is my favorite. I always feel like the first season of any show is probably more likely to be the best, but that's just my personal opinion. I'm not sure if you can hear that, but there is dogs fighting outside, so it might be a little bit loud. Sorry about that. Yeah, they are really loud. Hold on. I guess they're not fighting. I think they're just being excited because people are walking by. I live in an apartment complex and there's like I don't know how to explain it, but kind of like a middle area where people can walk by. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, a lot of people own dogs and there's one on the balcony and he's just barking at everybody walking by. And I have to have my window open because it is really hot in my apartment. I have mentioned before about the whole boiler situation and it's just I think I am gonna close my window though because it is quite annoying. It's annoying me already, and he's not stopping, so I'm gonna close my window. Okay, I feel like that's much better. I don't hear him barking anymore. I'm probably gonna start getting warm right now, but that's okay. So this was one of the kits that I ordered that was like, I think $3 or something. It was really cheap because it was, I think a misfit kit, but I wanna say I bought like 10. No, that's maybe excessive. Maybe like 6 or 7 kits from this shop when they were having like this really big sale, and they were really cheap. And they come with a lot of boxes and a lot of full boxes, so it was nice to have a lot of options. I was also very excited to use a tall box on the sidebar because I don't usually typically buy tall boxes. I don't know why. I do love them. I just never really think to buy them. And I am so sorry. I don't know why my light is so glaring in this kit. Maybe and these stickers are not glossy, so I'm not sure where the glare is coming from. I think I just had my what do you call that, ring lamp or whatever, ring light in a weird awkward position that it just made the glare really super annoying here. So I do apologize for that. I'm kind of curious if they're going to make more Bridgerton series. I think there's how many books are out right now about the Bridgerton series, and I know that they have 3 seasons and they probably I never read the books, but I think they stick pretty close to the stories from what I hear, but I don't know. I did like the 2nd season too. I'm just, like, thinking about it because 'cause I'm looking at the full boxes and I see the different characters, and it's just, like, bringing back memories of when I watched it. But anyway, getting into the week a little bit, this week wasn't very exciting. There was a lot of days when I was sick. I was feeling very sick. I, even got sent home on Tuesday, I think, because yeah, I just was not sick, so I got sent home, and I was sick on Wednesday as well. And then we had teacher parent conference night, so that was fun. When you're kind of sick, that is not really a good time. But getting into the day by day, on Monday, the first thing I'm marking is that I read, and I'm using this once more with Love Munchkin. And then to mark work, I was using these square boxes because I love them and I don't get to use them very often. And I don't know where that computer desk is from, but I just used it because it seemed to match a little bit with the kit. And then to mark that I went for a walk that evening, I'm using this Miss Moss girl to mark that. And then to watch my TV show, I'm using a Once More with Love TV. During this week, I'm not sure which TV show I was watching. I'm trying to remember. Like, I feel like I could figure it out if I really wanted to, but I don't remember what it was. Also, before I forget, I wanted to mention that those date covers on top, or no, the date dots are from a shop called Sugar Pop Fizz. and they're gold foiled with, like, a heart shape, and I just thought they were so cute to mark, like, an anniversary week, so I pulled those in. Plus, they kinda remind me of, like, a gaming situation since me and my husband met online through Xbox. I thought it was pretty cute and perfect. So moving on to the second half of Monday, the first thing I'm marking is that I was sick. This was still the sickness that was lingering from the week before. Then with this munchkin from Once More with Love, I'm marking that our apartment was super hot again, and I think I mentioned before why. It's so annoying. But I'm not gonna get into all that. So moving on, moving to the next part, I'm marking that I played Fortnite with my husband and my brother, so I'm using this Mixie Cat sticker to mark that. And then moving on to Tuesday, first thing I'm marking is that I read, and I'm using this munchkin laying on the couch reading. That's literally me in the mornings when I read. It's gotten to the point where I had to set a second alarm just in case I fall back asleep because it's happened. And then to mark work this day, I'm using this leftover Prairie Planner laptop sticker. And then to mark this, I was just so sick this day, I'm using this Awana sticker story. I mean, Awana story sticker to mark that. And then using this leftover house from the Prairie Planner, I'm just marking that my boss sent me home. Well, she didn't send me home. She asked me if I wanted to go home because I wasn't feeling well, and yeah, I just decided to. And then even though I went home, even though I do go home sick, I still have to subplan. So I'm using this emoji from the Coffee Monsters code just to mark that I did have to make some subplans. I do have an emergency sub binder, but I always find that if I make an actual sub plan, it goes a lot smoother, and I don't come back to the classroom to a big mess and a big jumble of things. It's just more organized if I do it that way, I guess. Anyway, since I didn't want to cook that night, I'm using this Paper Shire Girl eating noodles to mark that we went to get Ito. I just got a ramen soup bowl because I was just really wanting soup for my sore throat. And then that evening, I played this game on Xbox called Spot Cat, and I'm using this cat from SPC to mark that. Just so cute. Moving on to Wednesday, the first thing I'm marking is that I read, and I'm using this emoji from the Coffee Monsters Go. And then, of course, I was still sick, so I'm using the CinderellaPaper Girl to mark that. And then I ended up playing Fortnite this day, so I'm using this. I think it's a dog from Mr. and Mrs. Mint. And then after I played for like an hour or something, and then I took a nap. So I'm using this emoji sticker to mark a nap. And then I just had a YouTube binge, so I'm using this play button from Mr. and Mrs. Mint. And then the final thing I'm marking on Wednesday is that I played Superstore Stimulator with my brother. And to mark that, I'm using this Paper Shire bunny on a laptop with a Sims thing over his head. Moving on to Thursday, the first thing I'm marking is that I read, so I'm using this emoji sticker from the Coffee Monsters Co. And I'm using this hospital sticker to mark that I did my first aid training. So I was still technically sick this day. Like I still didn't feel well, but I kind of wanted to do this training because I was kind of on the waiting list for a while. So I asked her if I could, like the instructor, I'm talking about the instructor, I asked her if it was okay if I could join. And she said, oh, yeah, it's totally fine. There's only 8 of us there. So I just threw on a mask, and I had my own separate CPR doll. So it was fine. But to mark that I did my first aid training course, I'm using a hospital sticker that came from a Prairie Planner mystery kit. And then I needed to grab a quick lunch from somewhere close. So I went to Arby's, and I'm using these fries sticker from Paper and Milk. And then that evening, even though I wasn't feeling well, I had my parent teacher conferences that night. So from 3:30 to 8:30, we just talk with parents about how their students are doing, and talk with parents about how their children are doing. And that runs from 8:30, like I said, 3:30 to 8:30. So I was not feeling well. I just did a whole day of training, and I was just exhausted, but it ended up being fine. Like, I'm usually in bed by 8:30. That was the other thing too. Like, whenever we have these things that run quite late, I just get anxious because I'm like, I suffer from really bad insomnia, so my brain tells me you're supposed to be in bed right now. It's a whole thing. Sorry, that is totally not the point. To mark the conference, I'm using this pencil sticker that came from a Happy Planner book. And then because I had a lot of downtime, um, I don't know how to explain this. Each conference lasts about 10 to 15 minutes, so there is a lot of downtime, and since I had all that downtime because I did a lot of them online as well, I just finished my, first aid training. There was, like, a second part you had to do online, so I had to finish that, and it took another 3 hours to complete that, but I was happy that I got it done. So, yeah, now I'm certified for 3 years. To mark the training online, I'm using this Mixie Cat, and then to mark that I went to bed early that night, I'm using a emoji from Once More nope, Coffee Monsters Go. And moving on to Friday, the first thing I'm marking is that was our 8-year anniversary, and I'm using this sticker from Happy Daya or Daya, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. And then that morning I read, so I'm using this girl. I don't know where this is from, and this is the last sticker from that sheet. I wish I knew where it was from, but and then to mark work this day, I am using this emoji that is just like crying, saying all done because even though I didn't work a full week, it was exhausting and I was just thankful that it was finally Friday. And for some reason, just like last Friday, I ended up getting another headache this day as well. So I'm using another Once More with Love sticker to mark just having a headache. I think it was from the sickness that I had. I don't know. But we still went out for dinner. So I'm using these Fox and Cactus cats eating dinner to mark that we went to our favorite restaurant in the city. And I'm looking at my planner right now. I didn't cross my T. I got to do that. And then I'm just using this sad emoji or munchkin head. I'm not sure, just to mark that I was still sick, still feeling sick, even though it's been going like a whole week now at that point. And then, excuse me, and then marking that I called my dad. I'm using this leftover phone from the Prairie Planner. And then moving on to Saturday, the first thing I'm marking is that I planned, and I'm using the sticker from Van Sticky. I'm pretty sure that's where that's from. I am dropping my phone, which is not a good thing because that's what I'm looking at for reference to what I'm doing here. I think it's fine, but I guess I'll find out. Next, I'm marking groceries. We went to get groceries, and that's just a leftover grocery bag. I don't even know where it's from. Like, I want to say it's from either Simply a Mess or Prairie Planner, but it could easily be from anywhere, so I'm not really sure. And then this day, oh my gosh, this day. So this is so dumb. So I thought since I live in a small city that's like very, not very populated, I thought I would have a good chance of getting a bear cup from Starbucks. You know, that whole frenzy thing. Yeah, no, that didn't happen. I asked the lady in the front. She said, no, they sold out within 10 minutes. So whatever. But we ended up getting these festive drinks that were really delicious. So that's good. So I'm using this emoji sticker from Coffee Monsters Co. to mark Starbucks. And then to mark that I read that day, I'm using another Coffee Monsters Co. emoji reading. And then to mark cuddling, I'm using these munchkins from Once More with Love. And then to mark gaming out, another munchkin from Once More with Love. And then that evening, my husband made food, so I'm using this Paper Shire Bunny eating. And then I went to bed so late, so I'm using this Coffee Monsters Co. emoji zombie to mark that. And I think that was like at 3 a.m. or something crazy like that. Finally, moving on to Sunday, the first thing I'm marking is that I read, and I'm using this Once More with Love munchkin to mark that. And then using this flat lay, I'm just marking that I planned, and I'm not sure where that flat lay is from. And then I played some kind of cat game, like a different one than the other day, but I'm using this paw sticker from the Prairie Planner. And then to mark a YouTube binge, I'm using this play button from Paper Bits Co. And then to mark that it snowed, I'm using this sticker from the Coffee Monsters Co. This emoji looks so happy in the snow, but that's literally not me. I'm not happy about the snow, but it is what it is. And the final thing I'm marking that day is that I played Fortnite with my brother, so I'm using this Paper Shire Girl with a controller and headset to mark that. And that was the week. I hope you have an amazing week. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.